One of the things that is about to happen is going to be a tremendous birur. A birur means a refinement, a filtering process, where the good will be separated from the bad. For those of you who may have a difficult time understanding some Kabbalistic concepts, I'll try to simplify them. But in talking about good and bad, we need to touch a little bit on the Kabbalah. This world is an imperfect world. Ever since, from creation, Hashem made it so. And when the world is in an imperfect state, it means that the human being can rebel against the Almighty. He can do the wrong things. He can go against the wishes of Hashem. That is part of our free will. That is the way it was intended. And that is exactly what is insinuated in the story of Chet Adam HaRishon, when Adam and Chava sinned and rebelled against Hashem pretty much on the very first day. What that means, what that story is supposed to remind us, is that this will be the hitmodedut, this will be the challenge, this will be the struggle for all humanity forever until Mashiach comes. We will always struggle between doing the right and doing that which is not right, thinking of ourselves or actually doing what Hashem wants us to do. This is part of an imperfect world. Until Avraham Avinu came about. When Avraham Avinu came to the scene, he's the one that discovered there is a boss, there's something that he wants of us. We should believe only in him, and we should do what is right and just. That was the message of Avraham Avinu to his generation, and the Jewish people came out from Avraham Avinu. And it is we who received upon us that great responsibility and mission to disseminate to the entire world Hashem Echad, Hashem is one, and that He expects us to follow a certain path, to comply with His commandments. But unfortunately, we failed. We did not always do a good job. And that is why ultimately the one who has to clean up the mess, to repair the world, to bring about its perfection, will be Mashiach. Mashiach, or the Anointed One, that is really His job. His job is to redeem us, of course, to bring us back to the land of Israel, to rebuild the Bet HaMikdash, amongst other things. But the reality is that when He comes, the world will be perfected. The world will come to a perfect state, which is really the original blueprint of what Hashem had in mind, that this world should be a perfect, a good world, a paradise. And that will be the case after Mashiach comes. After the dead will rise, when everything will be just right. There will be no Yetzer Hara, there will be no evil inclination to do that which is opposed to the will of Hashem. But in the meantime, what we have is an irbuvia, as the Kabbalah would describe it. An irbuvia means a mixture of the evil and the good, the evil forces and the good forces, all created by Hashem to allow for free will. And they coexist, even though they don't get along. They coexist. Each one is opposed to each other. And it is up to us to choose between them. Unfortunately, for those of you who have read history, you can tell that not only us, but the entire world, we failed. We chose many times to join the forces of evil. That is why there are so many wars, so much slaughter, so much evil going around. Till this very day, we think we live in a more civilized world where there's democracy, etc. Even in the most democratic state as this country, how much corruption there is, how much pornography, how much selfishness. That's all evil. That all belongs to the evil. That is not exactly compatible with the will of Hashem. And therefore, right before Mashiach comes, there's going to be a birur. A birur means a separation, a filtering between the good and the evil. They can no longer continue to be together. They had their time of being together, but the time is finally coming to an end where evil will cease to exist. And in order to bring about this end, Hashem brings a process of birur, where He will filter out those who stayed with the evil, those who pursued the evil, from those who did not. And Zechariah Navi says very clearly that when that happens, 2/3 of the world will disappear. Very clear words. Those are not enigmatic words. Those are not difficult words to understand. If you read the Pesukim, it says very clearly, 2/3 will be gone and 1/3 will remain. And even from the 1/3 that will remain, they will be purified and they will be further refined to bring about a complete refinement. What we are really interested to know, however, is what will be the fate of the Jewish people, much more than what will be the fate of the non-Jewish world. Amongst us, there is a group called the Erev Rav. The Erev Rav, for those of you who have never heard the term, describes the multitudes of individuals who joined us when we left Egypt. They converted, they saw that the Jewish people were leaving, were becoming free. They wanted to join and convert and be part of the Jewish nation. Moshe basically accepted them, even though Hashem says they're not really good for you. Their source is evil. What does it mean their source is evil? Some people are holier than others, some people are better than others. Yes, the Kabbalah explains that at the level of the soul, there are some souls that are more divine. And when a soul is more divine, it is automatically attracted to do the right thing, the positive thing. And that is why you have some converts, some non-Jewish souls that somehow automatically are attracted and feel very close to the Jews. And there are various explanations as to why they choose to convert and why they're attracted. But one of them, Kabbalistically, is that there is some divinity in their soul, which pulls them in the direction of doing that which is divine, doing that which is pure and good. And there are some souls that are from the Sitra Hara, from the other camp, from the other side, from the impure side, created as well. Nonetheless, because they lack that divinity in them, they're not so interested. The Erev Rav, even though they joined us, they became part of the Jewish people, they did not have that much of an interest to do the will of Hashem, to do the mitzvot. And they have been causing us tremendous problems, tremendous heartaches throughout history. Ever since the Cheta Egel, which we will be reading this week's parasha, Parashat Kitisa, the golden calf is worshipped. How could the golden calf be worshipped so soon after receiving the Torah, after declaring Naaseh v'nishma? We were so sincere and so believing. But the rabbis tell us, the commentaries explain, it's not the Jews who started it, it's the Erev Rav. They were immersed in witchcraft. They were exposed to the impure and evil forces in Egypt. They were familiar with it. They still had the familiarity, the memory of those forces. And they immediately, for reasons that we don't have the time to get into right now, they decided to make this golden calf. Well, had it been just them, of course, Hashem would not have been so upset at us. But they started it and we followed. And throughout history, they have been always the biggest troublemakers of all. And the prophet clearly points to them when he says, that those who will cause you the greatest source of trouble will be from amongst you, Jews like yourself. But even though they're Jews biologically, because their mothers are Jewish, their soul is not completely Jewish. It's not completely pure. It is a soul from the Erev Rav. It is a soul that belongs to the other camp. And because of that, they're not interested. They're not interested in being Jewish. They don't have the same attachment to Eretz Israel as an ordinary Jew does. And the rabbis tell us we will be able to identify them as soon as we get close to Mashiach's time, because at that time there will be a filtering process. And through that filtering process we will know Mila Shem Elai, who is in Hashem's camp and who is in the other camp.